Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my new background. I finally got all my books off the floor and out of boxes, and Bambi's up here greeting me. I guess she wants some attention. But I finally got the books on shelves. So for maybe a year now, they've been in boxes on the floor. So I have like a mini library now, and it's so nice because all of my danmei is up and I can like easily find them now. But also I have a place for a lot of my danmei merch that I got. Not all of them, but I have places for some of them. And I love the way my new library looks right now. But today we're going to be talking about Husky and his white cat Shizun, ERHA book 8. Now, I talk about this almost in every review, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, but this book is small, and this is probably one of the few times that a small book has really irritated, kind of annoyed me. Because I kind of feel like we didn't, as much as I enjoyed this book, I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of progress made in this book because it was so small. Like, we got a lot of good information, a lot of good reveals. So I was keeping up with this series up until book 7, but then when I realized that the books were just going to get darker and darker and darker, I decided to just wait for the final book to come out, and then I would just binge through the heartbreak. I'm currently already finished with the series, so right now I am reviewing book 8, and next up will be the rest of the books in the series. So a good chunk of this book is dedicated to Moran's childhood. I generally don't like stories where a good chunk of it is just backstory. That was kind of my struggle with Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. As much as I loved that book, I didn't particularly like the whole switching back and forth between past and present. But I did actually enjoy learning more about Moran's childhood, and it also helped us to understand like how he became Taecyeon Jun. But if I had to compare it with the other books in this series, I wouldn't say this is my favorite. Honestly, I would say this particular book doesn't need to happen. And I'm not saying that the information in the book doesn't need to happen. I'm saying that the weird way that 7 Seas cut this book meant that, in my personal opinion, I kind of think that the beginning of this book could go into the end of book 7, and the rest of it could have gone into book 9. Like, this book didn't need to happen like on its own, because to me it kind of felt like an intermission, and so I don't really want to be paying $20 for an intermission. I'd rather just get a full story. But that is not like a dig against the author, because I do like Meatbun. I love her books. I love the way that she writes like really like raw emotions. And I have been just taking notes because I'm really going to use this to improve my own writing. Even though I've been writing for like almost 30 years now, you never really stop learning. So this is not an issue I have with the author. This is more like an issue I have with 7 Seas. And now we're going to get into some spoilers for book 8. But again, because I have read the other books, and there might be spoilers in this review for book 9. So spoilers for book 8 and book 9. Moran wakes up in the cave with Chuwaning. Chuwaning is still out of it. In this book, Chuwaning actually gets kidnapped, and we're going to talk about his kidnappers later. When Moran goes back to Shizun, he finds that all the cultivation sects are there, and then Taecyeon Pavilion comes in and puts him on trial for something he did when he was a kid. Taecyeon Pavilion are like the people who pass judgment for the gods. So when Taecyeon Pavilion is coming after Moran, people are thinking that it's the gods that are coming after Moran, and going against Taecyeon Pavilion is like going against the gods. They are again coming at him him for something he did when he was a kid, which is also forcing him to like reveal a lot of stuff that he has kept hidden. In like true C-drama fashion, we learned that Moran is the illegitimate son of a high-ranking official in Rufeng sect. His father is Nangongyan, and once again, typical C-drama, Ganyang stepped out on his wife, but Moran's mom didn't know he was already married. Then Moran was born, and then this man just disappeared. And they didn't really find out that he was married and that he was like the head of the Rufeng sect until they traveled like miles and miles and miles to go find them. And in that case, they were actually stuck in this town, basically not knowing anyone, with no money, basically no way to get back. So Moran's childhood was basically just him and his mom being dirt poor, being in poverty. His mom couldn't find work, so she would basically sing on the street for money. And basically because Rufeng sect is honestly is kind of garbage. I hate to say this because we did get two very good characters out of Rufeng sect. Eventually the town started running out of food. And what the rich people did was they started raising the price of food, basically so that the poor people would starve, which would give more food for the rich people. And Moran's mother was one of the people who starved to death. It was just so heartbreaking, but also what really irritated me, like that line, the result of your poor birth and unfortunate fate. So they're basically blaming Moran and his mother for all the stuff that happened to them. How are you going to look at someone who was telling their story, who was saying that their mom starved to death, that they watched their mom starve to death, and then say that it's the result of your poor birth? Moran was definitely a bigger person than I am, because how are you not going to cut someone out for saying something like that? So I'm sitting here like, yeah, I kind of understand Taeseong-joon, because that was just such a terrible thing to say. And as you go through this book and the following books, at least for me, I kind of really dislike the cultivation world outside of Shizun Peak, because there's just something just really just fundamentally wrong with all of them. And again, you start to understand like why Taeseong-joon had such beef with the cultivation world. And this basically all came out during the trial that Tanyang Pavilion was putting Moran through. And it also came out that Moran was actually the cause of a fire that happened when he was a kid. And the thing is, when you learn what happened leading up to the fire, you're just like, yeah, I get it. Because Moran's childhood is basically just a whole lot of people doing bad things, and Moran and his mom basically taking the hit for it. And basically people not caring because they're poor. And Moran as a kid just got to the point where he just got tired of that. And like, it is understandable. And what's really frustrating, and this book highlighted it well, but what's really frustrating about this whole story that Moran was telling is that the people didn't really care about all the bad things that people were doing to Moran, about the people who framed him, about his dad who stepped out on his wife and who like was the cause of them being poor, or about Rufeng sect who like rose the price of food just so people can starve. And the thing is, they knew about that. The cultivation realm knew about that, but because I guess is Rufeng sect that they just didn't care or just didn't matter. And you basically hear the story and you kind of start siding with Taeseong-joon and how he handled the cultivation world. And I have complicated feelings about Moran. Because again, you understand why he turned out the way that he did. At least for me, I developed like this severe dislike of the cultivation world. And I have trouble like really like being sympathetic to what Taeseong-joon did to them. The thing is that Shizun Peak and Chu Waning got caught up in all that. So it's just very difficult for me to fully like really forgive Moran because of what he did to Shizun Peak and Chu Waning, because that set basically did nothing wrong to him. Now throughout this book, Chu Wanning is kidnapped. His mind is like muddled because the Chu Wanning from Taeseon Jun's world gave him his memories. So basically Chu Wanning is spending like this book like merging the two memories together, but also his kidnapper further muddled his mind. So Chu Wanning's mind is just like, it is a mess. And whenever he wakes up, it's just like a toss-up of what kind of person is he going to be? Is he going to be the Chu Wanning concubine or like the Chu Wanning from this world? They mostly just keep him unconscious. So for Chu Wanning, we do get more backstory. But this time we get backstory of his time as a concubine for Taeseon Jun, where he learns that Moran was cursed. Like he has this like cursed flower that's embedded inside of him. And this flower essentially like eats up all of his happy memories, all of his happy moments, all of the joy, basically leaving him with only bad memories. And as we're learning from Moran's childhood, he had a whole lot of really bad memories. This didn't come up in his trial, but we learned from previous books that Moran had to drag that little Moran had to drag his mother's body so that he can bury her, and he begged people for help and no one would help him. So there was just a whole lot of trauma in his life. Basically this curse kind of forces him to like laser focus on all that trauma. Like I have a lot of trauma, but I can also like focus on some of the good stuff that also happened in my life. But what happens if I am forced to just focus on all of the dark stuff? Like, can you imagine how just absolutely twisted your mind would get? This book just gives you like really complicated feelings about Moran. But what I also appreciate with this, in general with this series, Moran, it doesn't really make excuses. He's just like, oh yeah, I was cursed, but I did all of that stuff. Because the curse only makes him remember all the bad stuff. The curse didn't make him like take over the cultivation realm. It didn't make him like attack Feng Peak. It didn't make him create the Jinlong chess pieces. And we also learn, not in this book, but in book 9, we also learn in book 9 that he chose to be cursed. He knew full well what the curse was going to do to him, and he chose it in order to save someone else. Again, just very complicated feelings because he is cursed, he chose to be cursed, but he also did some just really just horrible and unforgivable things. And this story actually starts making me like Taeseon Jun. So in this story, the Taeseon Jun from the other world is brought over. So we have both Taeseon Jun and Moran. And it's very interesting, the contrast, but also Taeseon Jun is with the kidnapped Chu Wanning. And funny enough, Taeseon Jun is the one protecting Chu Wanning, who is in this very vulnerable state because his mind is all messed up. Because Shimei was the one who kidnapped him. And apparently Shimei has been in love with Chu Wanning, which is something I did not see. The Shimei reveal about him being the mastermind of all of this, about him being the one who actually cursed Moran. Honestly, that wasn't surprising because Shimei throughout this entire series was very sus. You didn't really know why, you just knew that there was something off about him and that he was a liar. But for me, I kind of thought that he has this like weird possessiveness about Moran. Like he didn't really like or love Moran, but he liked that Moran was in love with him. But because of that time where Moran had decided to sit with Chu Wanning at the non-spicy food table, and Shimei had gotten mad about that. Or the time when Shimei was trying to flirt with Moran, and Moran didn't react at all. And you could see Shimei panicking because Moran wasn't in love with him anymore. So I never thought that Shimei was in love with Moran, but I just didn't know what was his deal. In this book, we still don't really know what his deal is. We just know that he's the villain and he's the one who is masterminding all of this. And because we don't know, I am basically holding out judgment, because in ERHA, these villains aren't sort of like these one-dimensional kind of villains, like they're evil just because. A lot of the villains are evil because of circumstances. So I am thinking, and I know because I finished the series, but I was just like holding my reservations about judging Shimei, because I kind of feel like he has a very good reason for what he's doing. But even still, it is so hard to like him, so hard to just hold in that judgment, because they are putting Shizun through so much, and they're putting Moran through so much, and for what? It was frustrating. That's basically the frustration I had with both Moran and Shimei, that their plans keep involving Shizun, who has done nothing wrong. They keep messing with Chuaning, who has done nothing wrong. And we do get some plot towards the end of the book where the Jinlong chess pieces, they attack Shizun, and they're attacking in a way that makes it seem like Moran is the one who's controlling them, and he's not. So to try to clear his name, but also to try to save people, Moran destroys his core. And he does save everyone, but we just don't know the results of him shattering his core, because the book ends. But he does get arrested from Tenyan Pavilion, and he's get taken away. But again, we don't know any of the results of that, because that's where the book ends. I finished this book with a very low opinion of the cultivation realm of Tenyan Pavilion, but also just a very higher opinion of Shizun, because as Moran was telling his story, they were confused, but in the end, they chose to like stay by his side, and I do like that. But also, again, I keep going back and forth, because Moran did a whole lot of bad stuff, and there's kind of no like forgiveness in that. And even Moran and all of his like trying to do all these good things to try to, I don't think he's even trying to erase all he did as Taesyeon-jun. It's more like he's trying to make up for all the stuff that he did. But in Moran's redemption arc, I kind of land on the fact that yeah, he can have his redemption arc, he can have his happy ending, but there's really no like real true forgiveness. There's really no like wiping his slate clean, because he still did all of that stuff. And I do really appreciate how Meatbun has been handling this, because it would have been very simple for Moran to like come back to his childhood and all the stuff he did as Taesyeon-jun just be erased. But I like that they're making him deal with it. Like, I like that it followed him, that he can't get away from it. So have any of you guys read ERHA Book 8? Let me know what you thought.